Hey guys, Deepak here from digitaldeepak.com, and welcome to today's show where we have Jayanti, who is the CEO and co-founder of Matic, now Polygon, and we are going to have a discussion about his journey and about the blockchain revolution that he has started from India. So, hey Jayanti, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Yes, fantastic. So, usually the format of the podcast is that I'm just going to ask you to give you a short brief about your journey. When did you graduate and where did you work and how did you get into this? A short timeline, and we will take the conversation forward from there.
Yeah, I mean, I was in housing.com before I started Matic. And there I was a data scientist. Before that, I had my own startup like for let's say 2-3 months. I was playing with the idea of Twitter analytics there. And then before that, I was in startup called Function Space, which led by Sumit Maniar. He is currently CEO of Rupik. And then before Persistent Systems, which was a service company. And there I was an intern. I started my career there, Persistent Systems in 2011 in Pune. And 2011, I internship and then kind of joined full time as a software developer. And yeah, I graduated out in 2011 only from Dharam Siddesai Institute of Technology from Nadyad. So yeah.
Nice, nice. So, how did the entire idea of getting into crypto and I believe that you probably saw that okay, Ethereum is inefficient and we might have to build a layer two solution. So, where was the first spark that came in for the birth of Matic or Polygon?
Yeah, so I was doing uh, side project, and while doing side project on in housing.com, I realized, I was playing with multiple ideas, not just one ideas, and I kind of used to create multiple uh, projects, small development projects, right? And then one project was about creating betting platform for the theories, right? For the movie series and movies and TV series. Like let's say who will die in the next episode or in Game of Thrones, right? The kind of thing, right? So I was just playing with that idea and created one kind of simple platform where people can post the theories and you can upvote and you can bet on the theories. And let's say if you win after a few episodes, you will get the money. And at the time, I didn't want to create a bank account for the company or anything, and I just wanted a Stripe account or Paytm account, right? And but for that you need to register a company, have a bank account, and multiple other things. So I just ditched that idea and try to look at the Bitcoin because at the
Okay.
time it was yeah, and I thought like let me look at the Bitcoin and see if I can integrate directly into the platform. But then I kind of started reading about the Bitcoin and then the crypto world and everything else. And yeah, like that's starting point for me to start into the crypto. And then I realized this is a big issue of transactions, right? The fees are very high. People having a trouble making transactions. They are not getting confirmed in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So I thought like let me also jump into the scalability part of it, and then when the whole scalability thing went started. Yeah, got started. Yeah.
Fantastic. So, see, one of the things that is troubling a lot of entrepreneurs in India when it comes to crypto is the lack of the regulatory clarity on it. There was incident like, coins founders getting arrested because they put a Bitcoin ATM. Nobody said that putting a Bitcoin ATM is illegal, but such kind of things. I feel like even to invest in cryptocurrencies it needs a little bit of courage even to do it in spite of the lack of regulatory clarity. So now we started having a little bit more clarity, especially after RBI said that, hey, you can, the Supreme Court thing is like, is overstepped our previous circular. But what does it take to, just go ahead? I mean, like, I absolutely admire Nishal and, Sumit for, kind of running these exchanges in India, which has definitely brought crypto to the masses. But in terms of being a founder of a crypto company itself, uh, how did you get the clarity and sitting like doing it from India? Obviously, you might have registered a company which is sitting in India, but everything else is working on a tokenized basis. Or is it that you are just working from India and the company is situated anywhere else?
Yeah, so founders, no, we started out of India, but the company and the whole legal structure is not based on India because of course the legal uncertainty. We have Singapore and BVI registered company, so token is based out of BVI, and that the foundation is very different than the actual company, right, in India. And so that's how we work. We don't want to overstep the government, of course. Like it's no go for us. I don't know about the exchanges, to be honest, because I don't run the exchange, so I don't know the nitty-gritty of the legality of the exchanges. The initial would be the better person to answer those questions. But for us, it was very simple. We are the global company. We are not also targeting the particularly Indian market, right? So
Yes.
exchanges, you see, like they also support the INR, right? INR exchanges. We don't
Mhm.
do that. If you go on the Matic network site, there is no way you can buy token directly there. There is
Mhm.
no way you could
Yeah,
do that. You can use
exactly.
that, but you cannot buy or
Other
sell
than
on
that.
our platform. That's a difference, right? So you can, of course, like you can buy and sell one token from the tokens on the Polygon, but it's not run by us. The exchanges in deployed on the Polygon, it's the companies are different. We are just a platform, right? So if you have a Matic token, you can make a transactions on the Polygon platform, but we don't support INR to Matic or Matic to INR anywhere in our platform as a company or as a product, right? So yeah, so we are totally different. We are not putting any ATMs anytime soon.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
don't do
yeah.
that, like, because of course, like, so putting a ATM is required much more legal kind of no approvals, to be honest, to put any kind of ATMs on the Indian malls and anywhere. You can't just put anything on the public market without consulting a legal team, right? So
So it's more like
that's a different, yeah.
you guys are from India and you are working from India, but obviously it's a global product with a global.
Yeah, so our goal is to make a global product. Anywhere in the world you can use the Polygon blockchain. As long as you have a Matic token, you can make a transactions. You can also do the transaction without using Matic tokens, using the gasless transactions. You can use some other product called Bioeconomy, and you can make a transactions in USDT or USDC stable coins.
Yes.
So it's up to you, like, so yeah, so it's kind of open to the world, decentralized. We don't control it right now. We have 100 validators running the network.
Okay.
Even if we want to change it, we can't.
Yes. Yes.
That's the idea, right?
Is
So
it
that's a whole,
100%
yeah.
decentralized right now in terms of
Yes, so we don't control 2 by 3 plus 1 power at all. As a foundation, we have a 6 node currently running. We had 7 node, but we shut down 1 node. Now
okay.
we have 6 node, but the total power is 2 by 3 plus 1. We don't have that control. So currently it's decentralized. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So my questions might be more from like the layman angle, even though I understand crypto a little bit more than most of the people. So I would definitely want to ask you about what is your opinion on Cardano and Charles Hoskinson being a early co-founder of Ethereum and now he is running Cardano. Uh, and do you think that it is a possible threat to Ethereum, or do you think that Ethereum has too much of network effects for it to be displaced anymore?
Yeah, so I believe Ethereum is too much powerful. Like it's much powerful than any other platform, and that's why we are just focusing on Ethereum, nothing else. We want to make it more successful because the reason is that Ethereum has a community, better community. Ethereum has a better dApps and innovation, if you see, and that's why kind of no, I don't see Ethereum anyone taking over Ethereum as far as I know, right?
Mhm.
On the Cardano thing, to be honest, like I don't know like how it works. I know the founder because he was a Ethereum co-founder before, but apart from that, I don't have an opinion on the same. Some people are saying it's bad. Few non-crypto, like the retailers are saying it's good, but I'm still like I'm not sure like if I'm a right person to answer that
Mm.
question. To be honest, yeah.
So Matic is on proof of work or proof of stake as of now?
Matic currently is in proof of stake. That's why like we have validators in the system
Yeah.
where multiple validators comes and
Mm.
stake their Matic tokens on Ethereum contract. Staking happens on Ethereum contract. It's not on Polygon, right? So
Mm.
you come there, you can place your token in the Ethereum contract, and you become a validator. Anyone can become a validator as far as they have enough Matic tokens, right? And they can put their tokens and become a validator and start creating blocks, verifying the transactions and sending checkpoints and participate in the network security.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, what is your opinion that if ETH 2.0 is rolled out? And I watched the recent interview with Lex Friedman by Vitalik, and he was talking about ETH 2.0 and how it's going to eventually scale up. And he also, I think, mentioned Matic once in the podcast. So, do you
Mhm.
think that if Ethereum actually becomes like a little bit more efficient, the the existence of Matic will be questioned? Like, sorry if it is a very direct or an
No, no.
uncomfortable question, but that's the general question that anybody would have, right? If Matic is making Ethereum more scalable and improving the efficiency, what if Ethereum itself becomes more efficient?
Yeah, so actually, this is very generic questions, and the thing is that when the crypto market matures, the transactions, the volume also increases, right? For
Yeah.
example, right, Ethereum was making very few transactions, let's say maybe hundreds of thousand transactions in let's say 2 years back, right? And people also thinking, we need a million transactions, right? Uh, Fast forward 2 years, currently we are making 7 million transactions per day, right? Capacity increased. People also more and more people are coming to the blockchain and creating dApps, and people are using that, right? So of course, like capacity increase with Polygon, but still like no people using that also increased,
Mm.
right? So the
Yes.
thing is that yeah, so the thing is that the problem with the whole thing is that first second example, right? You were using bus and auto rickshaws before Uber came, right? The traveling from one end to another end, it was like you were traveling pretty less. Now Uber came, the capacity increased, you traveled
Yeah.
frequently. Now you are traveling very frequently, right? So the problem remained the same. Now you are not getting Uber. You know what I'm saying? The capacity also increased, but your use cases also increased, right?
Yes.
So with Ethereum 2.0, you won't be making million transactions for
Mm.
sure, because they have a shard. Of course, like the capacity will increase, but the thing is that they won't be supporting 7 million transactions per day. They won't be supporting 65 million transactions per day, right?
Yes. Yes.
Or maybe 100 million transactions per day. So that's why uh, we also need to increase our capacity as a Matic, right, as a Polygon. So we are
Mm.
also working on thinking about supporting many kind of um, scaling solutions, right? Multiple chains. We have step specific chains coming up. We have rollups. We have zk rollups. We have rollups plus data availability chains, right?
Mm.
So those things we are thinking right now. Not just a current chain. We are also thinking on supporting many alternatives of current chains.
Like interoperability.
And yeah. So I'm basically happy that if Ethereum will scale, we will have a more space for deposit and withdraw for
Yes.
polygons, right? So
Yes.
people can move their money from Ethereum chain to Polygon chains very faster, very cheaply.
Mm.
So that's why we. So I'm kind of very happy and for the Ethereum 2.0, and it will basically also increases our capacity in terms of scales.
In fact, there was a study in US where the more they expanded the road, the more lanes they added, it proportionally increased the traffic also, right? So it's not like the
Yeah,
traffic went down
exactly,
because they made
exactly.
the highways bigger. So very
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
So
that's right.
like why would anyone buy Matic? In fact, I bought 3000 Matic when it was 4 rupees. So
Yeah.
I'm like an early investor, but I think in this day and age, an early investor means that you got in at January 2021, right? So that way, what is the purpose of the token itself? Like, does it have a utility? Like, obviously, from my
Mhm.
perspective, so I obviously have some Decentraland Mana tokens, but I think I have transferred it only on the Ethereum rail. But I heard that now Mana is on Matic, right? Um,
Yes,
oh,
they're deploying. Yes.
okay, so great. So, but apart from just treating it as a investment, like I do not understand like what is the utility of the token? Like, do you pay the fee in Matic tokens if you are transferring on Matic Rail? Is that where the utility comes from?
Yeah, so there are two major use cases there. One is the staking validators, right? So let's say if you want to become a validator, you need to stake your Matic tokens on the Ethereum
Okay.
chain on the contract, and then you become the validator. So currently we have a billions of tokens already locked on the on as a validators, right? And it helps to maintain and have a stake in the system for the validators to validate very efficiently, correctly, basically, right? Second utility is that you pay fees in Matic tokens on the on the Polygon chain. So
Mm,
let's say if you want to send a transaction, it's similar to Ethereum, right? Ether basically, right? So if you want to send a transactions on the Polygon chain, you have to pay fees in Matic tokens.
mm,
So that's
mm,
how it is used in the systems to encourage the correct behavior in the system for the validators.
mm,
Yeah,
mm. Got it. So,
yeah.
any plans of launching a wallet just for Matic, like a native wallet?
We have wallet. So if you go on wallet.matic.network,
Okay.
you
So,
can see. But yeah, we had a mobile wallet before,
mm,
but we thought it has a much more like maintainability for us because we are currently looking at the network and upgrading the network. So we didn't want to maintain the mobile wallet because it's very hard. It's very development heavy efforts for us, and that's why we kind of know we just went ahead and just currently maintaining the wallet.matic.network.
mm,
But you can always use different wallet like Trust Wallet and the MetaMask to use the Matic network, Polygon network directly. So we don't need to rely on our wallet. You can use other wallet supported wallet as well. So yeah, that's the idea.
got it. So how do you really capitalize? I mean, like obviously the media has been going crazy, and as someone who is a founder of a crypto startup, sometimes it might not be like the right representation. The way media likes to hype things up, which I understand. But the fact that the value of Matic token is going up, how do you exactly like capitalize on it? Like, does it pay for the technological resources that you have in terms of maintaining the network? And is there like part of the tokens that you actually sell back? Obviously, if you sell a lot, then the price will crash. But is it like a part that you sell to kind of capitalize on that? Like, for example, we heard Mark Cuban has invested. He basically bought the tokens, right? I think it's a
Yeah.
very straightforward and easy way to raise money rather than going through 1,000 different legal documents. But yeah, how do you capitalize on that money? And what a normal person would think after looking at the media is that okay, this guy is now having like thousands of crores in the pocket, but I do know that it doesn't necessarily work like that. So tell us a little bit more about that. How does it feel now that there has been a rapid appreciation of the tokens, and how do you like balance it off? Like how much do we liquidate? How do we invest that money, and how do we actually capitalize on it?
Yeah, there is a very unique questions. So it's consider it as a shares for the public company, right? So if public company shares goes up, they can use that money to raise fund, new fund, which can be used for the development of their roadmap, right? For us, it's similar, right? If let's say token price goes up, we can also capitalize on the treasury of the company, right? And with that fund, we can basically expand our roadmap, like as we are doing. What we are doing is that we are funding that money for the development work for the new types of the scalability solutions for the applications, right?
Mm,
Apart from that, we also fund or give the grants for the or invest in the companies who are building on top of Matic on the
mm,
Polygon, right?
mm, mm.
So the whole cycle basically, we use that money to fuel the growth for the Polygon network.
For the entire
So
ecosystem.
that's how, yeah. So that's how we do that.
Mm,
We just launched our DeFi fund,
mm,
few months back. Uh, with that DeFi fund, we are providing liquidity mining rewards for the users who are providing liquidity to the
mm,
Polygon markets, right? So with that, we are currently reached 7 billion USD in our the whole bridge,
mm,
Matic bridge, right? And Aave is currently doing 5 billion plus USD on Polygon, right? So
mm,
that's because we also, and there we both funded the efforts for the liquidity mining
mm,
program, right?
mm,
So those kind of grants, the initiative we do with the tokens we have with the foundation, with the marketing team,
mm,
marketing allocation,
mm.
and with that we kind of fuel the growth for the Polygon network. That's and it's already transparent. You can always go on the transparency sheet for the Matic network, and then you can see where the fund is going, how
Mm,
we are funding the ecosystem.
mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm. So, based on my research, like I have invested a little bit in Polkadot, and then I see the entire ecosystem. Like you have Polka Starter, which is like the fund for
Yeah.
starting new projects on Polkadot, and then you have Polkadex, which is a decentralized exchange for Polkadot. So, does Matic also have similar additional tokens that will be coming, or it will be on the Matic network itself?
No, we don't have another token. We just have a Matic token.
Yes.
But the dApps applications which are deployed on Polygon can have their own token, but it is not related to us. Like Polkadot has only one token, dot, right? They don't have a different tokens. Like you can always deploy your own contract or applications on their platform and create your own token, but it's not related to that token, right? It's different. The
Mm,
price is very different. It's up to it's basically saying, okay, hey, if I'm building something on using the Stripe, and I do the IPO, it doesn't mean like it's a Stripe's IPO. It's
mm.
different company. Like Stripe is their
Yes.
own shares. I'm just using the platform, right? It's as
Yeah,
simple as that. Yeah.
got it. Got it. Very
Yeah.
nice, very interesting. And yeah, one of the most frequently asked questions, especially by the audience, is that what was the driving force behind changing the name from Matic to Polygon?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is I got answer, I answered this on multiple platforms, but the idea was to kind of make sure it's a mindset, right? So whenever you ask like, okay, hey, we changing the name, they always ask like, why you change the name, right?
Mm,
Something must have changed behind the scene, right? you
mm,
you always have that, your human mind always asks that question, and
mm,
that was the actually reason behind that. We were, as a Matic, we are the one particular solution. Like we just built one proof of stake chain with a plasma in it, but with Polygon we want to expand our ecosystem, expand. We are saying that, okay, we are not just a one scaling solution, we are multiple scaling solution. Now we have a
mm,
Polygon POS, we have Polygon Plasma. We will have a Polygon SDK which you can use and build your own chain. We will have a roll up plus secure rollups as well in the future. So we are kind of saying, okay, this is big. Matic the Polygon, we will have major ecosystem partners, we have more advisors, we have kind of become bigger than before, right? We are not just normal people out of India, software developers. We are big and we are decentralized. We wanted to make it clear to the whole globally that we have changed, from one stage to another stage. This is stage two, and that's what we wanted to uh, convey. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So one more technical, maybe, not a question that you might have a answer to, but why 10 billion tokens? Like, what made you decide on that 10 billion? Because there are tokens with 45 billion tokens, and there are tokens with no limit supply like Doge. So what came up with that
Yeah,
number?
it's a yeah, it was
Total.
just a design decision. So let's say you have three options, right? And you just pick one. It's like a design decision that we made at the time. Uh, it's just a kind of no. Obviously, it depends on the thing you choose, right? Let's say if you reduce the number of supply, let's say 10 million, then your price, the initial price would be
Very high.
higher, right? Because you want to have some valuation. So it's just a number,
Arbitrary
not
number.
specific
Just
to
to,
yeah.
yeah,
It's
that's
not
a,
a like very mathematical number. Yeah,
yeah. I
it's just
thought.
a design choice. Yeah, that's nothing
Cool.
more.
So now we will kind of shift to some mindset and personal questions in terms of you as an entrepreneur, right? So now you are CEO of Polygon. Um, I obviously watched a lot of videos and interviews done by you, and one thing that you mentioned was that, like, when you go to investors and try to ask for money, especially being out of the IIT club, where like, they are like, who are you? So now that somehow through hard work, through opportunities, through serendipity, I would say, now that you have arrived at a position where the world is coming to you, right? You don't need to be asking for permissions. I think you have done your fair share of trying to knock doors and getting it to open, and now it's like the floodgates have been opened, right? So how does it feel, to manage this level of success? Because by the time you are getting successful, I think it's not like you become successful and then become humble, right? You first become humble and then you get to success, and you stay humble. So considering everything that is happening around you, especially the media hype and the newfound wealth and net worth, how do you make sure that it doesn't change your thought process and decision making, and you stick to what you are doing, which you are enjoying doing, right? To code and to
Yeah.
develop this network, to develop the ecosystem. um, how do you handle this whole distraction? And obviously, I think now you are getting more requests for media interviews, including this, more than ever. So how does it feel, as a person who is at this stage?
To be honest, I haven't thought about it, to be honest, because uh, before the whole hype in India, like we were also popular in outside India, by the way.
Mm,
The whole hype came much later stage. The thing is that you let's say if I'm talking to you here in this hour, right, and we are talking about the success and everything. After this call, I will have a different call, which uh, will be very stressful for me, right? Because there will be different problems, there will be different deals, different decisions we have to take, and multiple other things, right? So it's kind of momentarily. Specific personally, I don't think the whole day like आज तो मजा आया ये हुआ, right? It's not like that. You when you are successful, you also have some other problems with you.
mm,
So it's like kind of no, you don't think about it at all. It's similar for me, like before 2 years back, it's the same thing. Of course, like few things are very easy, but the problems also become very tough, like other
yes,
problems, not
yes,
related to
bigger problems.
things. But yeah, so first, like the problem was money, but now the problem is something else. Let's say some things, for some partners, some things are not working, so fix
Mm,
those.
mm,
Some people are not happy, like, convince them. those kind of, the problems have changed, but there are some problems every day, right? So so for me personally, I'm like,
Nothing has changed.
it's the same thing story. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Interesting. So,
yeah,
see, any person who has even achieved a moderate level of success is not going to get there without some level of very good work ethic and some long-term goals, and something that drives us each and every day, right? To go that extra mile. So what drives you, and what has been driving you, for the past several years since you started Matic? Like, let's do this. Sometimes you are doing sacrifices. You are probably not spending time with your family or friends. You are doing
yeah,
stressful travel, but it comes with that compounded effect of having done that grind for a significant period of time, and then the results start showing up. So how was the mindset, and what was it that was like, was the driving force in helping you get to where you are?
it's just a kind of, the idea of just going ahead. There were some time where people say, okay, this is not going to work, and the people are doing something else. Why you are doing differently, right? So at that time, like, when things don't work, you will get some heat, of course. But when things started changing, when you get some success, then same thing, same people, but they are doing saying something different, right? Before, no, before it was not working, and after it started working, right? So life is like that, you are doing the same thing, but if it's not working, people will curse you. If it is working, people will praise you. So, like, I think that thing I learned very quickly, I guess, in the life, same thing, we were doing the same thing in the tech thing, like, last year it was not working, this year it is working. People are using it, people are doing it, right? So it's like, I'm like, okay, now, like, my next goal is to kind of, make it work for a extent amount of time, right? Keep it
Mhm.
growing, make it work like this, because sometimes it goes up, goes down, in the growth and everything, but my next goal would be to keep it going, right? So,
Mhm.
and yeah, I mean, there is no specific thing in my mind, to be honest. Like, it's just a usual
Yeah,
job, you could say,
yeah,
like a usual
yeah.
thing.
It's
you
like
you
just
just go ahead. Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
one day at a
normal.
time,
It's a
right?
routine.
That's it.
Yeah, it's a routine. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
And as a founder, like, obviously when you start very early, you are either working by yourself or with your co-founders or with a very small team, which is extremely easy to manage. But then after a period of time, you get to double digit employees, and maybe someday to triple digit employees. So how does this adding human element, trying to scale things, that's the glass ceiling, right, which you have to break. What has been the experience with that, trying to expand the team and trying to work with people, because suddenly, like, working with computers code sometimes feels very simple, like you have figured it out, and suddenly you add this human element, and figuring out the humans becomes like the new challenge, which doesn't
yeah.
have a simple
Yeah.
solution. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
that's awesome.
scaling is hard. Yeah, the company scaling is very hard. Now you want to make people happy internally, right? Like, there are some issues, like, every day, like, you need to make sure, like, everyone is happy, everyone is happy with their work. So those things always uh, can, emotionally drain your power, right? And having a co-founders, good co-founders like Sandeep and Anurag, I think I was very lucky at that, in terms of co-founders, where, they are also similar to me, humble and everywhere, and they're also kind of, supportive in the emotional level.
Mm,
So whenever, let's say, something, some, it happens, your good developer is leaving, or, something is not working, and like, some people are not happy.
mm,
It happens every company, I would say, and going through that hurdle with the co-founders are like, kind of, quite a journey. And I think we had some fair share of the ups and down in that department, the people department. But I think we are finally, like, we are treating good people,
mm,
and yeah, I think it's like, it's like convincing your family to do something which they don't want to do, right?
Yes.
Buying a car, I don't know, asking like when you are little and if you want something from your dad, like it's just convincing your dad is your, अगर मुझे ये मिल जाएगा तो I will be like better at my
Hmm.
job or at my study or something. So those kind of things keep happening, and yeah, you need to resolve those things as a founder. Yeah.
Interesting, interesting. Very good. So a few last questions. What would like now that it's kind of becoming obvious that like I'm not going to talk much about the future of crypto or anything because it's kind of by default that it's at least come to a stage where it cannot be like completely stopped. There might be ups and downs, but this whole crypto world is here to stay. And the biggest thing that is happening, apart from let's say investing in Bitcoin, which is hard money and good way to have a store of value. The whole crypto market is now about projects getting funded through crypto. That you launch your own tokens, and it's a permissionless way to raise money, not just in a particular country but globally, right? So that is where I see the revolution happening. And what would be your advice for any company, not specific to any country, whether it's India, like obviously now we are all international. um, like how do they approach launching their own token and raising money by issuing their own tokens like a public market? The token might or might not have a utility value within the ecosystem of the workings of the company. Like Matic, may you have to pay the fee with Matic. uh, Wazirex tokens, may you have to pay the trading fee using Wazirex. So there can be a utility, there might not be, but like what would your advice be if a company says I won't go do IPO, I won't go private equity, I just want to do crypto? So how do they even approach that?
Yeah, I mean, people have been doing since 2017. The ICO boom and everything happened with that, right? The idea of creating the token and raising money for a product through token, right?
Hmm.
But the problem is that, once you raise the token, investors also need some kind of, product to back that value for that crypto, right? And that's where things get interesting, right? You know, let's say if you don't have a product or the good product, right? I'm saying when I say product, it means like the product market fit product.
Hmm.
When you have enough users and everyone, then you can basically then it's a good thing. You can do that, but you just I see like emails from every day saying, okay, I want to create a token, right? But why? Like you if you want to create something and then you create a token to back it up, then that's fine.
Makes sense.
But if you just think, okay, I'll create a token, I'll just make a millions out of it, that's not going to happen.
Yes.
I can create another token in less than 5 minutes, but
Hmm.
it doesn't make like it's no use.
Why
Anyone
would
can
people buy it?
create a token.
Hmm.
Yeah, anyone can create a token. That's not a point. The point is to have a token which has a value, right, which can be used in your ecosystem somehow, right? And then it powers the whole decentralized product you are envisioning, right? That's the idea of the token. And people power token, right? That's the idea of that. Otherwise there will be no use for the those tokens. Yeah.
Yes, yes, makes sense. Cool. So that's pretty much it. So guys, how did you find the podcast so far? Was it inspiring? Was it enlightening? Let me know in the chat box. And if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat box, and I can pick out certain interesting questions and maybe put it back to him. So we are getting some positive comments from the chat box. So any questions for us? Any questions for me?
So you from my side.
Yeah.
No, I think I'm good. Yeah, thank
Cool.
you.
So yeah, one person is asking how to join Polygon. Is there any job opportunities happening in your company? And
Yes. So let me post the career page here in the 1 second. Let me find it. Yeah. So I'm just copying it here. We have multiple Uh,
You
the
just
page here, you can go into it and see if you can fit the role, and you can send a yeah.
Cool. Looks interesting. So, how many people are there right now working? I'm is a corporate office in Bangalore.
80, yeah. We have 80 plus.
Okay.
Um,
Interesting.
we are decentralized, and then in
Mm,
terms of team, because we have a team in Serbia,
mm.
Dubai, Vietnam, India, US. Uh, yeah, so we are pretty spread over the globe. Yeah.
Good. Very interesting. So, how many of you guys are interns here? Just type intern in the chat box. So we run a program called the internship program where we have kind of gamified the education, and we have started with the digital marketing course, but we are going to go ahead and launch more courses where users pay around 20,000 rupees to join the course, and then they have 12 assignments to do. And if they complete all the assignments on time and they come out on top, they get back all their money. So it's a reverse scholarship kind of way, and we have more than 7,000 people who have enrolled in this course so far. So that's what we primarily do, and eventually we are also looking at launching a course related to crypto to basically upskill this segment of the market, and we are looking for experts out there. So in due course of time, I believe we will get enough people interested in this and to teach crypto as well. So thanks for sharing the careers page. We'll definitely have a look at it. And thanks a lot
Yeah.
for your time, Jayanti. Very,
Yeah.
very
Thank you.
proud of having a fellow Indian and a fellow Bangalorean. So I stay in Koromangala. My office is in Koromangala. We run our startup there, and to have someone from the same city who is actually making it to the, let's say, the best way to put it would be to see it in the top 20 tokens of coin market cap, right? You have made it all the way there.
Yeah.
So there is no other recognition needed. So really inspiring, and all the best for Matic and Polygon.
Thank you.
And Godspeed. So that's about it.
Yeah.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Good night.